In previous lessons, we learned about cells. Cells are the building blocks of all life, including the human body. Groups of similar cells form tissues, tissues form organs, and organs make up systems. Today we will be learning about one of the body's systems, the digestive system. We will learn about all of the organs that play a role in this system. The organs that we will hear about today that work in the digestive system are located in the abdomen, which is sometimes just called the belly. Let's go over some vocabulary words. Our first word is absorb. Absorb means to soak in a substance. For example, the paper towel will absorb the spilled water. Let's look at some other examples. Pancakes absorb syrup. Trees absorb rainwater. Towels absorb bath water. See if you can think of something that will absorb or soak up a substance easily. Filtering, removing unwanted materials. For example, the water plant is filtering unsafe elements from our drinking water all day and all night. Saliva. Saliva is a watery liquid in the mouth that helps soften food, making it easier to swallow. For example, May's mouth filled with saliva while the dentist worked on her teeth. Esophagus. The esophagus is a muscular tube that connects the throat to the stomach. For example, Luke swallowed a piece of pizza and imagined it passing down his esophagus into his stomach. Villi or villi. The small finger-like threads inside the small intestine through which nutrients from food are absorbed into the body. The villi inside the small intestine are essential for absorbing nutrients from food and providing the body with these nutrients. Boys and girls, if I were just to come look at you, I wouldn't be able to tell whether you are hungry or whether you have just had a meal. But one thing I do know is that everybody has a digestive system, and that all of your digestive systems are working right now. There is a lot going on inside of those bodies of yours. You each eat several hundred pounds of food in 1 year. It takes roughly 24 hours for food to travel through your gut or digestive tract, a long, complicated series of tunnels with openings at both ends. Where does the journey begin? Yes, the process, or series of steps, of digestion begins when you put a piece of food in your mouth. When you were born, most of your teeth were hiding inside your gums. That's why babies start out with a liquid diet. A liquid diet is nutrition you can drink. Babies start out drinking their food, which is mainly milk. But once your first set of teeth came in, you were able to eat solid foods. You are at an age right now when you are probably losing some of those teeth and getting a new set. If so, you might find it hard to chew certain foods. Your teeth help you break down your food into tiny pieces. The longer you chew, the smaller the pieces become, and the easier it is to digest. Human teeth come in different shapes and sizes, designed to eat both plants and animals. Let's take a look at the different types of teeth you have in your mouth. The flat wedge-shaped teeth at the front of your mouth are called incisors. The incisors are thicker at one end than the other, similar to a piece of pie. The incisors, both top and bottom, work together like a pair of scissors to bite, slice, and cut up your food. Next to the incisors are sharp, fang-like teeth called canines, or dog's teeth. These teeth tear and rip food apart, the way that dogs do with a piece of meat. Behind the canines, bicuspids help to crush the food. In the back of the mouth, wide teeth with bumpy tops known as molars help grind the food into mush. See if you can touch the teeth in your mouth with your tongue right now, do you notice the different shapes that your teeth have? Next time you bite into a piece of chicken, sample a piece of cheese, or chomp into an apple, see if you can figure out which teeth are helping you the most. Have you ever heard someone call food mouth-watering? What do you think that means? When you smell your favorite food, your mouth probably starts to water as you think about how good it will taste. The watery substance is called saliva. Saliva comes from small salivary glands, or organs, in your cheek and under your tongue. It helps keep your mouth damp and softens food as you chew, beginning to break food down for easy digestion. Saliva serves another important job as well, helping to wash away and kill bacteria. Another word for unwanted bacteria is germs. Did you know that every day you produce as many as 6 cups of saliva in your mouth? Can you feel it? Can you taste it? What else do you have in your mouth besides your teeth and saliva? What's the name of that fleshy muscle in your mouth that is covered in taste buds? Remember, taste buds are clusters of nerve endings. It is your tongue. Not only does your tongue help you taste your food, it also helps push the food around your mouth, rolling it into a mashed up, wet lump of food. Your tongue pushes the lump of food to the back of your mouth and helps you swallow. Once food is swallowed, it passes into a food canal called the esophagus. This stretchy tube is only about 10 inches long, leading from the back of your throat, through your neck and chest, to your stomach. Food passes through the esophagus quickly. Muscles squeeze together and push the food into the stomach in about 10 seconds or less. It's a lot like squeezing toothpaste from its tube. Put your hand on the left side of your upper abdomen, just below your chest and above your waist. That's where your stomach lives, behind your lower ribs. This human mixing machine is shaped a bit like the letter J. Your stomach acts like a balloon, expanding to hold the food it receives. The stomach's gastric juices help break down the food into a paste-like substance. These digestive juices also kill any germs that may have been swallowed. Round and round, food churns for 3 to 4 hours as muscles squeeze inside the stomach walls. Once it is the substance of a thick soup, the food continues its journey into the intestines. There are 2 types of intestines, the small intestine and the large intestine. The intestines are tubes located in the lower abdomen through which food and food waste travel. Even though there are 2 different kinds of intestines, the small and the large intestines, they are actually part of the same long, single tube. A muscular gate, or sphincter, at the bottom of the stomach opens to allow food to flow from the stomach into the small intestine. The small intestine is about 21 feet long, or about as long as 5 7-year-olds lying head to toe. Even though it's longer than the large intestine, it's called the small intestine because it is much thinner than the large intestine. This narrow tube, the small intestine, is coiled up like a snake below your belly button. Muscles squeeze together and push the mashed up soupy liquid along the curly small intestine. The food is mixed once more with digestive juices from the liver, pancreas, and gallbladder, other organs that are part of your digestive system. The juices, called enzymes, break the food down and make it more and more watery along the way. The small intestine, with its millions of villi, or finger-like threads, is where some of the most important work of the digestive system takes place. The villi reach out and absorb, or soak up, usable nutrients and water, passing them through the bloodstream into all the cells of your body. Did you ever hear rumbling sounds coming from inside of you? Chances are they are coming from your small intestine as muscles contract or squeeze together to break down food. They are the sounds of a healthy gut. Most of the nutrients that are absorbed by the small intestine's many villi travel to the reddish-purplish liver, one of your body's important cleansing organs. So remember, if it's absorbed, that means it's soaked up. Your lower ribs on the right side of your body protect your liver. Its function is to clean the blood, filtering or straining out any leftover waste. It turns this waste into bile, one of the juices used by the small intestine to help digest your food. The clean blood, with lots of nutrients, is carried to muscles that make them stronger, to bones that make them harder, and to every other part of your body to give you energy to help you grow. Since blood goes to every part of your body, the liver performs a very important function of making sure the blood circulating in your body is clean. This finger-shaped organ is called the appendix. As far as anyone knows, it doesn't seem to be useful to the digestive system. From time to time, the appendix can become infected or sick and cause a disease called appendicitis. When people get appendicitis, they get a very sharp pain in the lower abdomen in the area surrounding the intestines. The pain comes from the appendix, located in the lower right side of your abdomen, near your hip bone. When it causes too much pain, doctors remove it. For many years, the appendix was considered a completely useless organ. Only recently have some doctors begun to think that the appendix may serve to fight infections or kill germs. The appendix is located right where the small intestine widens out into the large intestine. The large intestine is where the solid waste ends up. When something is solid, it means that it's not a liquid or a gas. Even though the large intestine is much shorter than the small intestine, it's called the large intestine because it is much wider. Parts of food not digested in the small intestine are squeezed out into the large intestine, where they remain for up to 2 days. Water is absorbed from the waste into the walls of the large intestine and passed into the bloodstream. The waste becomes thicker and thicker, piling up into a solid mass known as feces. Feces are stored in the rectum, the final section of the large intestine, until another muscular gate, or sphincter, opens up and allows the feces to pass through the anus, the body's exit point for solid waste. That is the end of your food's journey, from mouth to esophagus, to stomach, to small intestine, to large intestine, to anus. The digestive system's organs are working all the time, day and night, to process food into substances that your body can use, providing you with the nutrients and energy you need.
Hello, my friends. I have got just a few questions about what we learned about today. Today we talked about how both saliva and gastric juices will work to kill germs. Why is that necessary? And how do germs get into your body in the first place? Why is it necessary for our saliva and gastric juices to kill germs? And how do those germs get into our body? It is necessary because germs are everywhere and they can be harmful and they get in. Sometimes we can breathe them in. They sometimes get in through the foods we eat and the things we drink. We learned also that the liver's job is to filter waste from your blood. Why is it important to have clean blood? So our liver is an organ that sits up high on the right side of our abdomen, above our stomach, and its job is to filter or clean our blood. Why is it important to have clean blood? Does blood just sit in one spot in our body? No, our heart works to pump that blood all throughout our body. So our blood goes everywhere, and if we have waste or unclean things in our blood, that's going to go everywhere in our body, which would not be safe or healthy. I want you now to turn to whoever is helping you today. I want you to see if you can come up with a question for them about what we learned today that starts with what. See if you can think of a question that starts with the word what, and see if they can answer for you. If they can't answer, then you get to be the teacher for a little while, and you get to teach them. When you are finished talking to whoever's helping you today, go ahead and open up the PDF that's attached to this assignment. I'm going to have you pause this video until you're ready for that, and I'm going to move over to my computer so I can show you what to do on our assignment today.
For the first part of our assignment today, we're going to work all together. We'll complete that one together. For this first part, we are working on sequencing. Remember, sequencing means putting things in the correct order that they happen. We are going to work on sequencing all of the steps of digestion. Let's read what all of the steps are first, and then we'll figure out what order these things happen in. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see all of them a little bit better, and I don't have to scroll around. Let's read these ones. Teeth crush the food, and saliva softens it into a mashed up lump of food. Our next one says feces, or waste, is stored in the rectum until it is ready to be passed out of the body through the anus. This one says food enters the large intestine, where water is absorbed from the waste and passed into the bloodstream. The one next to it says food enters the small intestine, where millions of tiny villi absorb its nutrients. This one says food enters the stomach, where it is broken down by gastric juices into a paste-like substance. And our last one says the lump of food travels down a stretchy tube called the esophagus. Which of these do you think happens first? I think you guys are right. In order for our body to digest the food we eat, we have to eat it first. Our first step is teeth crushing the food, and our saliva softening it into a mashed lump. I'm going to use my text box, and I'm going to write a number 1 in that box to show that that one is first when we sequence these in the correct order. After our teeth crush up the food and our saliva softens it, what happens next? Does it go right to the small intestine? No. Next, it travels down a stretchy tube that goes down our throat called the esophagus. Our next step, our second step, is food traveling through the esophagus. After it travels through the esophagus, where does it go? We eat it and chew it. It travels down the esophagus into what? You've got it, into our stomach, which has all 4 types of tissue in it. Food will enter the stomach, where it's broken down by gastric juices into a paste-like substance. We've got 1 step, 2 steps. This is our third. We'll write a number 3 in that box. After it's broken down by those gastric juices in our stomach, where does it go next? Does it go to our rectum? Does it go to the small intestine? Or does it go to the large intestine? If you said small intestine, you got it right. After food leaves our stomach, it enters the small intestine, where millions of tiny villi absorb its nutrients. We'll put a number 4 on that one. After the small intestine, remember small intestine first. Then, after it's done traveling through all of those twisting and turning walls of our small intestine, it enters our large intestine. Our next step is entering the large intestine, where water is absorbed from the waste and passed into our bloodstream. And our bloodstream, of course, carries that to all other areas of our body that need that water and other nutrients. And very last, once it's traveled all the way through the large intestine, it waits in the rectum until it is ready to be passed out of the body. That is our very last step, our 6th step. All right, my friends, let's keep going. Go ahead and scroll down to the next page on your assignment today. Today, my friends, we have another letter. This will explain what we'll be learning about in the next couple of weeks. You don't have to do anything with that page today. It's just there to let you and your families know what we'll be learning about. We do have some work to do on our second page, though. On our second page, we're going to work on another journal entry. This journal entry looks a little bit different. We don't have as many lines on this one, so for this journal entry, we'll write fewer sentences as well. On this journal entry, I want you to write 2 or 3 complete sentences. That means that they have a subject, a predicate, they start with capital, and they end with a final mark. Your complete sentences should be about the digestive system. What did you learn about the digestive system today? When you are finished with those 2 or 3 sentences, at the top, we have a picture of a human. I want you to fill in this empty space in the middle. I want you to draw all of the organs that are part of the digestive system. So you'll draw the teeth that chew up the food, and the esophagus, and the stomach, and the small and large intestines. Fill in our empty space here with all of the parts of the digestive system. I want you to label them too. So point out what parts of your drawing are what organs or what parts of the digestive system. When you are finished with that, you are all done today, and I will see you guys next time.